folks, Eric here again, and once again I'd like to welcome you all to our Thrifty Survivor YouTube channel. Now what I'm going to do for you today is a camp stove comparison. Now these are both really of similar design. In fact, they're both identical designs. In fact, they're even both the same brand. Other than that, there is one primary difference. The one on the left is constructed of stainless steel, and the one on the right is titanium. That's the only difference between these two cooking stoves. They're both made by Lixada, and it's a Chinese company. I did a review on this stove a while back, and I'm going to be doing a review, or basically I'm going to go outside here in a little bit and start a fire with this stove. Now, the primary reason I'm shooting this video today is not really so much as a review of one stove or the other, or even really to say whether one stove is better than the other. The primary reason is for $10 difference in the same brand, you can have a titanium stove. And why does that matter? Well, to give you an idea, this stainless steel Lixada collapsible stove here weighs 17.8 ounces. This one here, 10.4 ounces. That's nearly 7.5 ounces difference. A half pound almost. So that's a big difference on just one item. And for $10 more, this one here cost you under $20. This one here will cost you under $30. Now, I know that a lot of folks stay away from the titanium primarily because of the cost. Well, I think that issue is pretty much resolved with these Lixada titanium cooking stoves. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you all outside, and we're going to start a fire in this stove. And probably not much reason to do that because you already may have seen the review on this stove. But I'm going to do that, and I might even cook something on top of it. We'll just see how that goes. Anyway, you just sit tight, and we'll see you shortly. All right, we're back. And what I'm going to do here, first of all, is I'm going to show you how to assemble this Lixada titanium stove. It's really pretty simple, real simple design. Now this is actually the little nylon case that it comes in. Hold on here. Sometimes it does get snagged on the case, so there we go. And there we go. Make sure we got everything out of there. Okay. And in case you're wondering, this stove only weighs 10.4 ounces. Okay, so it doesn't really weigh much at all. And all you do is, okay, you got a front piece here with a hole in the middle. And then you've got these three sides, one down here and these two here. And what you want to do is on one side, these little flanges point down, and on the other side they point up. You basically just want to line up the ones that go in opposite directions and just kind of slide them in just like that. And then you do that with the third one, and the front one goes on last, and there's a reason for it, and I'll show you here in just a little bit. The reason for that is this is the base plate, okay, and you want to make sure that you can get it in here. I don't know whether you're supposed to turn this where well, it's hard to tell, but this little square here kind of sinks down on one side and goes up on the other. I don't think it even matters because I've done it both ways with the stainless steel one. I think that little square basically is just to let you know where to put a little fire starter in there. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just put her together. Just goes like that. And I think you're probably catching that on camera there, just like that. Once that's done, the last piece is the front, obviously. Just kind of slide on that. Oop. Okay. There we go. And the last piece, you kind of have to twist it a little bit because it goes down. And what that does is it really locks it together really tight. This just won't fall apart. There we go. Facing it in the right direction there. Anyway, so that's that. And these are basically just little brackets so that you can set any size cup or pan or anything on there. One of the problems a lot of these types of stoves have is sometimes in the middle, some of the smaller ones in particular, they are smaller, so they figure you're not going to have anything too small to set, or smaller than the stove to set on there. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. An 8-ounce cup, for instance, it'll just fall right in. This, now some of them will actually have little slats that go crosswise. Once again, even with those, if what you're setting on top is smaller than the hole that's left in the middle, they'll still fall in. It's not an issue with this system because they just kind of cross each other. You just, okay, I started with the wrong one. Basically in the middle, you just got a little slot, and I'm going to move a little bit closer to the camera here to show that to you. You can see this little slot here, and on the other one it's on the opposite side, and you just cross them like that and they go together. So here goes. Once you've done that, now you can do this, you know, usually what I do is I'll just slide one in and then slide the other one in, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and that's done. That's ready to go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and stuff the stove with some tinder and that type of thing, and we'll get a fire going for you. So you just sit tight and I'll be right back. All right, folks, now we're going to go ahead and get the fire started. And I may cut this off every now and then because I don't want to bore you all with the fire burning for an extremely long amount of time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook an egg, you know, in a pan, just a fried egg, just to show you that you can use this for actual survival. Okay, so just sit tight and I'll get the fire going. What I did is I took a stick and those cotton ball swabs that I showed you how to make with petroleum jelly. That's what I'm using here to get the fire started. It's an easy way to get a fire started. It's real easy. If you don't know how to do it, you can check back in our previous videos, and I don't remember what I called it, but it's something having to do with cotton ball jelly soaked, petroleum jelly soaked cotton balls, whatever, something like that. Anyway, but what I did is I just put it on the end of a stick, and I'm going to go ahead and get a spark to light this, and then I'm going to stick it in the stove. It's a lot easier than getting it started in the stove itself. This way you can adjust where you put the flame to get the flames going real good. So here goes. I'm going to set it over here for now. And here we go. Okay, well that's how I get the fire started, and I'm going to try to talk a little bit to keep you from boring, or to keep you all from being bored, but this is going to take a little while. What you really want to do ideally is just to let this burn down into coals. Now for frying an egg, I may or may not do that just for the sake of time. It looks like we got some clouds rolling in, so I'd rather not do this in the rain, particularly with the camera sitting over there. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of let this go for a little bit, let it, create a good fire, and I'm going to go ahead and break out the pan. This is a little stove or a little mess kit that I showed in an earlier video. This is the larger one, and this one does have a frying pan, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Okay. Just a little aluminum frying pan. Okay, now I also brought some butter. Okay, just a cheater here, but in nature you're probably not going to have butter. You can use grease, you can use fat from an animal, whatever, anything to kind of lubricate the pan. Even if you don't have that, you can still cook eggs in a pan. It'll just stick to the bottom. Okay, survival is survival. But I'm going to do this the easy way. I'm going to go ahead and throw some butter in there. but we're not quite ready to throw the pan on there yet. Now, something I'm going to mention here on the stove, you see the opening here. Now you can throw wood and stuff in through the top, but what I like about this one is what I normally do and what a lot of other folks normally do is they'll just kind of slide some sticks and twigs in here sideways, and as they need to, they can just push them in, and they'll just keep burning that way. So it's a lot easier than trying to throw things in from the top, and you don't have to take the pan off the top either. So get rid of some of that ash. And I'm only cooking one egg here today because I already ate. I don't need any more, but because I am going to eat this. I don't like to toss things. So just going to kind of let that heat even out a little bit. Going to go ahead and get that butter. Ooh, that is hot. Going to get that butter to melt here. It's actually a bit too hot probably to be cooking or frying an egg right now. Like I said, ideally what you want to end up with is just the coals, because the coals will sit in there for a while. The heat will even up. The flames won't be going all over the place. I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and get the pan warmed up and put the egg in there. Okay. Go. Now normally I flip my eggs, but this pan is not a pan that's good for that. So I brought a spatula, but it's not handy, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may try to flip it, but I don't think that's going to work. You know, you can see that it's cooking there. Pardon my dog. His name's Buddy. He likes to get attention. I might go ahead and just use the fork. And I brought a plate, but I left it back there. I'm going to have to go grab a plate, obviously. I don't want to eat it right out of the pan. I could, but you know, if you like a kind of a over easy type of egg, that ain't going to work well. I broke the yolk. Oh well. Anyway, it's. I'm going to grab the plate. Now, in a future video, I'll probably show you how to make a spatula out of wood. It's not hard to do. I just didn't. I brought everything I needed, but I just didn't have it pulled out. Well, I thought I'd get the fire going, and it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to take, so I didn't have a chance to grab that. So anyway, my egg looks more scrambled than anything else. One thing to think about, though, is in a survival situation, that doesn't really matter. However, you can do over easy eggs. I should have just brought the spatula, and it looked a lot better. Anyway. And I brought some seasonings also. No, buddy. No, no. Yeah, he loves eggs. I need to make sure not to set this on the on the table since it's plastic. So, okay, here's the spatula I mentioned earlier. It comes in my Stanley pot, whatever you call it. Anyway. Disassembles, goes back together. I brought it, but it wasn't in the right place. Anyway, these are my seasonings, and I actually showed these little containers in an earlier video. I don't remember what it was, but it was part of the contents of one of my backpacks or something along those lines. I've got salt here. The black one is black pepper, and the red one is Carolina Reaper, since I like that too. And I don't like bland eggs, so I am gonna season these eggs. Now, I don't know whether y'all want to watch me eat them, but I'm going to do it on camera just in case. Alrighty. That's probably about right. Now, this is not a cooking show, okay? Because I know I really didn't do a good job on those eggs, or not on that egg there. But, you know, in truth, even this is going to taste real good. I mean, I prefer my yolks young, runny. But in a survival situation, once again, y'all pretty much saw how long it takes to get a fire going. Now, I didn't do this really right. If I really want to do it the right way, I would have added more wood, created a good bed of coals. It would have been a more stable temperature, and I would have been able to just set the egg pan on top of that. And I would have also had a spatula ready to flip the eggs, or at least the fork. But anyway, now here goes my, yeah, you know what, I'm not sure. I might go ahead and throw some Carolina Reaper on there. It's hard to decide sometimes. I could use both, but I wouldn't taste the black pepper with this. So, okay, looks like there's just about enough in the lid. Well, I know you can't see what's coming out of there, but it ain't much. I'm going to want a little bit more than that. Now, oh, that is going to be spicy. Woo. A big, a big chunk of Carolina Reaper. I'm going to show that to you on camera. That is going to be really spicy. I mean, I season my food with this stuff regularly. It's just powdered Carolina Reaper. Generally, I don't like to get a big chunk in one spot, though, because that's just like eating almost a fresh one. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that is one big chunk of Carolina Reaper. I'm going to kind of spread it around a little bit. I know my dog's not going to want to eat this. At least not after he takes a bite out of it. So, all right, here goes. I'm probably going to choke on camera here. Anyway. Yeah, that is spicy. If you love eggs like I do, don't really matter much how they're seasoned. I'll eat them anyway. I'm starting to choke up a little bit. I mean, that, again, that was a huge chunk of Carolina Reaper, so. That might have been enough to really season, for some people at least, a whole pot of chili there. So. Folks, I wish y'all could be here to try this out, but it ain't too bad. All right, folks, I'm not going to make y'all watch me eat this whole thing. What I'm going to do for now is I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I want to thank you all for watching. Please give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, hit that little notification bell up here on the your upper right. And that way, every time we post a video, you just be notified. That's all it does. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Anyway, once again, I want to thank you all. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.